Hey yo, how y'all doing? What's up? We're back to the playoffs. The weekend I was running around doing some stuff. I watched a lot of the games on Saturday. Obviously the first game goes to overtime. That was fun. Those teams playing yet again today. The Jimmy Buckets. I see all the people in the chat at all. You get in here early. The Jimmy Buckets. I need my bifocals, my blue light glasses because I'm going blind right now. Damn. Your boy's gonna look like he's buzzing right now like it's 420. Nah, it's 524. Shout out my sister. It's her birthday today. It's National Brothers Day. We got a lot going on. How y'all doing? How y'all ladies? How y'all fellas doing today? Yeah, I mean, I did a lot on the weekend in terms of being my first full week in. Moved into Austin, Texas. Got to go to the girlfriend's families. Got to do some stuff and watch some basketball here and there. Had some stakes in it with the player props and DFS lineups and bets, of course, and all that type of stuff. But now it's like, okay, it's an exhale. I'm going to get some food after this. It's an exhale. I'm going to get some food, and I'm going to watch these basketball games, these two games today. I love it. The Sal during the NBA regular season this year towards the final month and Sal in the NBA playoffs, the interest levels could not be more polar opposites. The interest levels in actually like sitting down and spending my time watching these games to be entertained, right? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Big fun today. Big fun in the league today. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. It's a two-game slate, but I mentioned it earlier in the Discord today. It's a really good two-game slate. There is so many different ways that you can go with this. You can go double stud if you wanted to. There's some ways to get there. You have to punt. You can go double stud in terms of Jokic and Giannis. You can go completely balanced and not touch either of those guys, right? And it seems like Lillard, as he is not overpriced, but a lot more expensive than the Jimmy Butlers of the world today, and the Michael Porters and the Nurkic's, who are massively underpriced in the DFS markets and player prop markets. Jimmy Butler seems to be not getting as much steam because of that, which is leading to this opposite effect. It's a funny effect, right? Where earlier on in the day, and if you're talking cash lineup still, Butler is not optimal, right? But now as everybody sees that Jimmy Butler is completely underpriced earlier in the markets for player props, he was as well. It is looking a lot better. If you're looking at how these teams match up specifically and you're trying to bet outright on the game or totals, we can chat about that as well. I'll be having some stakes in there to discuss. So a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about today. I see Trevor was up in here early. I know my man Evan was up in here with the first like. My man was up in here a while ago. Javante says, who we fading today? Yeah, so if you're looking for fade just based on ownership, right? So last time out, the first day of the NBA playoffs, Giannis Antetokounmpo was my favorite play on the slate. I let that be known, right? It goes to overtime, and it looks pretty good for him. I think if you're looking to fade anybody today, the fades start to come into play with these flukier 4K options, like Robert Covington, who was the number one play on the slate this morning's video point per dollar-wise. Dante DiVincenzo, right? Goran Dragic, who just touches the 5K range now after having a nice game last time out, shooting well in that last game. I think that's where some fades start to come in play. Because, if you're trying to fade Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Michael Porter, Yusuf Nurkic, these guys who are all going to pick up ownership today on a two-game slate, you're just really trying to pick the one that just doesn't score 50 and scores like 48 instead. There's not really much analysis to go for you there. I would say that picking the guys that are in that 4 and 3K range that pick up a lot of ownership, like Austin Rivers today, he is probably the best 3K option. I have him as my number 12 overall play. So I think that that's the spot to get different. Now, if you're trying to win the $100,000 to first, yeah, you're going to have to fade the Giannis's or somebody like that. But as I advocate for on this channel, for DFS purposes, if we're talking about fading, I assume we're talking about fading some chalk in the overall DFS landscape today. I think that in your small field single entry 2 to 3 spots to get different at most, but it's just as simple as honestly pivoting from, let's just say, it's as simple today as pivoting from a Robert Covington to a Brook Lopez, and that will save you 20% in ownership today, right? It's as simple as going from a Jimmy Butler to a Lillard, which is $1,000, so somewhere you're going to have to make up for that money, but that will probably save you today. I think that Lillard probably comes in half the ownership as Jimmy Butler. So this morning, I completely advocate for Jimmy Butler being the better play than Lillard until you factor in ownership and leverage on what your total lineup is looking like. Trevor, what's going on, boss man? He says, let's get this bread. Joshua says, fellas. Levelhead Croc says, fellas. Hey, yo, fellas. If you a fella in the chat right now and you don't got a fellas t-shirt or hoodie right now, I don't know what you're doing. My hoodie's over there. I can see it on the floor from here. Did you get your Let's Try in today? Hey, my man Paul. My man Paul watched the Watch the Life Update. I see about 500, 600 people have tuned into that. Yeah, new Life Update podcast came out today around 1 p.m. East Coast time, 2, somewhere around there. With my girlfriend and I, the 4th episode. A lot of stuff that we covered in there. It's about a 50-minute episode if you want to try it out, see if it's something, your cup of tea. I appreciate that if you got some time. But did I get my Let's Try in today? So I did look up. I wanted to basically rekindle with a friend that I haven't talked to in a while. I have not done that yet, but I do plan to. And then looking up events on Meetup this week. I actually have Meetup on my browser, and that's what I was doing for the past hour. Then final schmacks for all you beautiful people. Dalaruski says, my man Michael, what's good? William, what's good, boss man? Let's get it. We got a lot of people pumped. Look, some people might have had to get back to work today on a Monday, right? You get the weekend off. You get back to work. I mean, most people probably did. I had to, right? Got to get back to work. We're right here. We're streaming for you, right? You got to get back to work today on a Monday. And you're like, fuck this shit. Get me to these games, especially when, you saw Atlanta and Knicks was like potentially game of the weekend, but the game that goes to overtime, probably game of the weekend with Jimmy Butler and Milwaukee, but that Atlanta Knicks, just the atmosphere made it crazy. Dragic, Holiday, or Damon. So let's start to pull up some minutes here. So I'll pull up the minutes. I was actually doing some crunches earlier and just seeing what I was getting with my projections. I don't really care if you play like 4 guys in a lineup from the same team. I don't even care if you play 5 on a 2-game slate. Like I just have my max from a team set to 5. I doubt I get a lot of lineups with 5. But this is what early exposure is looking like, which is basically what everything is looking like just today in general, except I'm having heavy ownership towards it. But I do think McCollum will be a significant leverage piece today for me. It seems like McCollum is going to be a way that I get significantly different today. McCollum is going to come in with maybe McCollum touches 30% in ownership, but for a 2-game slate, I don't even know if that will be the case, which is 2-game slate, pretty crazy. So here's the minutes. Let's start answering some of your beautiful questions. My man Zay. What's up, Zay? I think you follow me on Instagram. We chatted on there before. Dragic and Holiday or Damon Rivers today for me. Give me Damon Rivers there. Giannis and Jokic or one of them in Butler. One of them in Butler makes a lot more sense in my opinion. You will be very different, I believe, if you go with Giannis and Jokic. So those guys individually will pick up ownership, but the combination will not pick up ownership. There's like a bubble. There is a bubble on my side of my finger right now, but there's like dirt under it. I have no idea what this is. Fuck is this? Should I be concerned? This shit ain't gonna focus. You can't see that. Why am I? I'm in a little box trying to show you the fucks on my. This shit's not gonna focus on my finger. Buy this motherfucking camera. I won't even focus on the bubble on my finger right now. The fuck? What Miami guard is your favorite today? What Miami guard is my favorite today? Probably Duncan Robinson again. Just from like a value standpoint. I don't expect him to score the first 9 points of the game again for the Heat, but just from a value standpoint. What's up, Sal? Thoughts on Campazzo and DiVincenzo? I actually like DiVincenzo. You're not really seeing that crazy spike hike like you saw for Campazzo last time out. Like Campazzo, he had like one of his best games in a while last time out, right, in the postseason. And Monty Morris is going to continue to get a little bit more run, right, still kind of dealing with an injury. So the price point comes up a little bit. I'm not there as much. Off topic, but who do you think of Julio wanting out of Atlanta? What do I think of Julio? Yeah, really, I like the conversation there. I like pivoting to the NFL a little bit. We can talk about that for sure. I think it makes sense. I don't know how much I take away from the Shannon Sharp thing that I saw today. It didn't really see him. He just said he didn't want to go to Dallas. I know that he was like, oh, I'm out of there, but I don't really know what that meant too much. I don't know if he was briefed on it. I really don't take too much away. We're in a slow season right now for NFL news. The draft is over, and May and June is just the worst seasons, right? June 1st, a couple of contracts move, so maybe you can get some trades and some veterans released, but we're in the slow season. Anything's going to get blown out of proportion. I don't think Julio will be there. Financially, it makes no sense for them to keep Julio for what will likely be his last year there anyways, right? And then he's going to be opting out. So get rid of him. It's just a matter of what the package can be and who wants to take on that salary. I think the Colts make sense money-wise. I think San Fran makes sense money-wise. New England potentially can make sense, but he said he wants to go to a team that can win like within the next year or two. I don't know if that's actually New England. You can say Bill Belichick all you want. I don't know how much they're actually set up for that. Covington or Ariza today? Covington. The studio is sick. That studio is sick says BH3 or I don't even know what the name is, BME. You think the studio, I don't know if this is your first time and you're just stumbling upon us on Twitch. If so, you might be the first person to ever organically find me on Twitch, but I appreciate that. If you like the studio. Yeah, the studio has been something I've been putting together. We're now in Austin, Texas, similar to what I had in the other spot, but a little bit different of a setup. We're going to be having a couple of other things added as well, but I just noticed that my shirt kind of blends in with who the fuck's on the $100 bill? I don't know why I don't. I mean, I have Google to the right of me, so instead of like asking that, who on it? I just typed into Google $100 bill, who on it? It's a Benny Frank. Yeah, it's a Benjamin. Alrighty, so me and Benjamin out there looking pretty similar today. Thoughts on JaVale and Melo? I really don't know if JaVale plays many minutes today, my man. So Melo, I'm going to be getting away from Melo. I took the under on Prize Picks on Melo this morning. It then quickly moved. I took the under like 23.5 and then moved to like 21.5, something like that. I have Melo at 22 minutes. It's really not interesting to me. Melo is the same analysis every time. Do you think Melo gets the shots to fall, right? But at a slightly increased price point, I'm not really going to go there. Melo will be, though, like 15% owned today. So for a 2-game slate, he will not have ownership. JaVale McGee, for me, is not picking up any minutes. It's really tough to find JaVale McGee minutes today. I gave McGee 2 minutes of play. If you say, Sal, that's ridiculous, he's going to play 4 or 6 minutes. I'll just say, unless you're betting JaVale McGee props somewhere today, which I don't know if anybody's offering them, it really doesn't make a difference. Really doesn't make a difference. What's good, Sal? What's going on, Akil? Fellas, Tootie Roll, what's up? Sal, you've been cold on Prize Picks. Can you stoop that today? Yeah, the last 2 days, or stop that today. The last 2 days have not been ideal on Prize Picks. Yesterday, get absolutely hammered by Chris Paul, getting hurt, having to leave a couple minutes. That's probably an excuse because it really only impacted him for like 2 or 4 minutes. The day before that wasn't great. The day before that was fine, though. So it's really been a 2-day slide. The weekend was not good to me in the Prize Picks streets. Not by any means. But yeah, I placed something this morning on Prize Picks, which I don't normally place such a motherfucking high entry. But I placed, and by high entry, I mean so many things tangled together. I placed this morning, this is like so much. I would not recommend. It's a flex play. It's not the power play. It's a flex play. So I only have to get 3 out of 5 right to get money back, 4 out of 5 right to profit. Giannis under 12.5 rebounds. Lopez under 12.5 points. Simon's under 18, which has now actually come up to 19 or 20. Carmelo under 23. That's gone down, so I feel good about that. And Norman Powell I have for close to 30. He's only at 24.5. We talked about this one this morning, but that's where I'm at right now. Obviously, individually, I like all of those as well if I took them all together. So those are 5 props. I haven't dove back into the market in like the last 3 or 4 hours to kind of see what the difference has been in the prop prices in the prop betting markets, but that's where I'm at right now. Feel free to tail it. If you're in New York, Prize Picks is now legal there, and also you can check out Prize Picks. It is linked down below. If you want to just bet on player props somewhere, that is the spot that I highly recommend. If you use my name Sal when you sign up, they'll give you whatever money you put in. They'll match you up to $100. So pretty nice little benefit there if you want to start to get into especially on these like smaller slates for the playoffs. Having money just in, it's a little bit more stable to like just have like 2 or 3 players get you an over under instead of having to have like the perfect 8-man lineup for a lot of contests. The show is good, bro. Good work on your show. I appreciate that. Yeah, Gary, I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, so for anybody who does, I clearly see people are watching it, right? It's not going to be as much of a draw as like what I do here. Like people are coming to my content because I create content around betting and DFS and sports and all that, right? So it does make a lot of sense to me, and I'll pull up some other minutes here. You can see Milwaukee's minutes on the screen now for the postseason. It does make sense that people are not going to tune in as much to the podcast with my girlfriend and I, right? But that's more so something that we do for fun, and we want to grow it, of course. But yeah, I think it's just I think it's a cool outlet for you guys to see just a different side and thought process of myself. Peek behind the curtain. Hopefully we can get the vlogs back up. And when I say we, I mean it's just a mental block for me to actually take out my phone and start vlogging for a minute a day and have a vlog a week for like 5 minutes. It's better than nothing. So we talk about that in there. Talk about big business kind of, not decision. I guess it's a decision, yeah, in there. My girlfriend was pissed at me with her on it. Yeah, so you can check that all out if you're interested. What's your favorite Prize Picks today? So my man Rob, I assume you just saw what we put on the screen. I've been doing pretty decent on these slates to 2 to 4, 5x my cash all week. There you go. Maybe that's your sweet spot. Maybe you got a nice hone in on where the best leverage spots are. Is Bam in the top 8 now? So nothing has changed with the top 8 because we haven't had any news. I really don't expect any news. Are we even waiting on any news? We're waiting on Zach Collins is likely more doubtful than questionable. He just hasn't officially been ruled out today. The top 8 has not changed. Bam would be the number. Bam right now for me ranks out as the number 11 overall play in the slate. My number 10, yes. Bam is a yes for me. I have 10 yeses today. These are 8 of them. Bam and Giannis would be the other 2 yeses. That Knicks game, the Randall fade saved me. Yeah, Randall was brutal. I was watching part of that game, basically the whole second half at my girlfriend's parents' house. I did not see the Trey buzzer beater. My girlfriend had to get up early, so we bounced like, you know, the end of NBA games take like 20 minutes and not just 5, so she knows that. She knows I watch sports enough. But she had to get back because she had to get up at like 4:45, 5 a.m. for work. But we left with like 5 minutes left in the game. Seemed to be a good game, and then I saw the stoplight that what Trey, that man Trey did, and I was like, oof. He silenced that whole crowd. I legitimately thought, though, that he was going to the Knicks were going to win when they were kind of pulling back. They were on a massive like 13-2 run at one point. Hero and CJ or Dame and Monty Morris? Give me Dame and Monty Morris. I really like the CJ play today. Like, I can't tell you enough how much I like the CJ play today. McCollum has a lot more minutes in the tank, in the chamber, if you will, than he played in that last game. And he has the ability to shoot a lot better than he did as well. So I like the McCollum play just in general. The problem for me is the Hero side of it. Like, Hero right now is priced as if, like, they think that this is the bubble last year. Hero is priced as if he is the same player as last year. Towards the end of the regular season, Hero started to come off the bench and barely start to crack like 26 minutes of play when Nunn and Dragic were healthy, right? Hero in that last game shot terribly, 2 of 10. He's no longer in the bubble where he gets this nice shooting. The only time that we've actually seen Hero play pretty well for the most part in his 2-year career. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great. 19 minutes played in that game coming off the bench. You can say that him shooting poorly was part of it. I just think him coming off the bench is now the thing. So, like, maybe you can get Hero to 24 minutes, but he should be a $4,000 player at the most right now. So you're really paying a premium on Tyler Hero. If you see him join the starting rotation at some point, then you feel more confident that he can touch 30 minutes, and then you can say, okay, this is a nice pivot play. But coming off the bench, you're hoping for 24 minutes. And even if Hero averages a fantasy point per minute, which is above what he does this year by a significant amount, he's still not getting you there, right? So it's just a pricing thing that keeps him out of play for me. And nobody's going to own him today. He might be 5% owned on a 2-game slate. So there's that going for you. But in 24 minutes of play, you're going to have to see that guy to pay off for you in a major way, even at low ownership. He's going to have to hit, 6, 7 threes? I think Dame is going to torch Denver. I'm fading Rivers, somebody says. Yeah, Rivers is going to be popular as right now really the only 3K option on the slate. Him and Paul Millsap, maybe JaMychal Green if you're looking for 3K options to punt with. Rivers seems to be the most stable minutes-wise, I would say, right? Or at least that's what it appears to be the last couple of games. Fills a weak shooting guard spot, played 33 minutes in that last game, although that last game did blow out down the stretch, which is something that you should keep in mind as there was a 15-point loss in that last game for Denver. So, not sure how much I would trust the Rivers minutes, but Rivers did start the game. Rivers did play good first half run. Rivers played in the first half about 16 minutes, so you can expect that to continue. All the starters kind of closed out the game in the blowout. So, yeah, Rivers I would expect to play today. I have Denver right now on the screen. Rivers I have projected today for 27 minutes of play. You can give him 28 if you want to give him 28. That's fine. But I do believe that Rivers is a fine fade option if you can just get up to somebody in that 4K range as a differentiating way in your lineups, or just not even have to touch that low. Thoughts on Gordon and Nunn? I like Alex Gordon, former Kansas City Royal. I like Aaron Gordon. I think he's fine in a player pool. I actually think I was talking in the Discord earlier today. I think that Kendrick Nunn, and we'll pull up Miami. Look, if Kendrick Nunn starts for Miami again, there's merit to play Kendrick Nunn. You should expect him not to play 30 minutes, sadly, although there's a chance, of course, if he's playing well. He wasn't playing that well in the last game. Did hit like 2 threes, but Dragic was just playing better, and Dragic is going to be a better offensive player to close with in close games, and that's what happens. So that's the issue with Kendrick Nunn. Even if he starts, you're probably not getting an additional 6 to 7 minutes run to close out the fourth quarter. That's what happened last time. That is one of the reasons why he scored he was like a point away from his over-under on Prize Picks, and he screwed me by not stepping on the court in the fourth quarter. He's just not as reliable as an offensive weapon. That being said, though, if nobody wants to own him because he burned so many people last time out, including myself, if he's going to be 8 to 10% owned in the DFS markets today, right? Maybe he's 15. I doubt he's 20. Maybe he's 15% owned at most today. But if he starts again, you can expect 22 minutes at least, maybe 24, maybe 25, 26. The difference between him and Tyler Hero is he's starting, he's probably playing more minutes, and he's cheaper than Tyler Hero. So can Kendrick Nunn score 25 fantasy points in 22 minutes of play at $4,500? Yes, I can see that happening. He would have to exceed his expectations, but I can see that happening. So Kendrick Nunn for me, if you're going to choose one of these 10% owned guys between Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero, it's Kendrick Nunn, and it's not even close. So yeah, I actually like Kendrick Nunn. He would be Kendrick Nunn is the ultimate, there's a 20,000 person contest you're playing in today. A 6% guy was in the winning lineup. Kendrick Nunn would be that guy today. Julio Jones to the Raiders, somebody says. I don't see it. Thoughts on Millsap for value? He would be the direct pivot price-wise off of Austin Rivers, but I'm really not going to that 3K range much. Are you there on Aaron Gordon today? We can pull up Denver's minutes. I gave Aaron Gordon 27 minutes of play today. Gordon for me, let's see where he ranks out. Gordon for me ranks out overall as my 24th overall play. He is the second player out of a player pool for me right now. Let's see what the big energy optimizer gave me, if it gave me any Aaron Gordon. It gave me 8% Aaron Gordon, which based on where the field is at right now on Aaron Gordon, I'll be coming in below the field, it seems, early on Aaron Gordon. I know I just said that I like Aaron Gordon today. That's more so like a pivot play if you want to. This also isn't my final exposures, but I guess I should walk that back a little bit. I guess I was thinking Alex Gordon. Rivers is so risky. Agreed. Any optimals? Can't pitch tonight, somebody says. You can't pitch tonight. I don't know what you can't pitch tonight means. Campazzo or Monty today? Campazzo if you had to pick one. I think Dame is going to torch Denver. I'm fading Rivers. Thoughts on Millsap for value? Okay. Any movement on your top 8 rankings? No movement on the top 8 rankings right now. Good question, though. Campazzo can't guard Dame. I agree, but I really don't think they have anybody that's going to be able to. They don't have Jamal Murray, obviously hurt. They don't have Gary Harris, which would be the biggest piece to guard him. He's now out of there. They don't have Torrey Craig, who they lost last year. Like all their big defensive players that can guard a top stud on another team are gone now. They don't have Will Barton, who can at least try and take on that challenge more so than the Campazzos and the Monty Morrises of the world. So that's why Denver is kind of I think Denver is screwed in the series. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I don't think that anybody thought that they were the favorite that they were maybe 2 months ago before Jamal Murray got hurt and before they traded away Gary Harris because he was playing like crap, right? But I don't think they're as big of a favorite, and I think that first game says a lot. Like, Portland is just going to score points. They're not going to play much defense. They don't really have a way to play much defense, right? They do bring in like pieces. They do the trade to get Gary Trent out of there, which probably only hurt their defense even more, bringing in Norman Powell. They're just going to score points. But Denver's not the same defense that they once were, which is tough, right? Middleton or Adebayo today? Give me Bam. Your top 4K plays in this order would be Robert Covington, Brooke Lopez, Dante DiVincenzo, Duncan Robinson, Trevor Ariza, and Kendrick Nunn, and then Bobby Portis. That's point per dollar wise, right? Now keep in mind that Robert Covington's probably going to be relatively chalky today, probably be the highest 4K owned guy. But you're going to get some nice ownership. Like Duncan Robinson today will not be that highly owned. He scored the first 9 points last time out. Don't expect that again, but that's fine. He's going to play 32 to 34 plus minutes. My favorite 4K play in the entire slate, if he's the first guy into your lineup, Robert Covington. If you just need just a nice neutral ownership play, Duncan Robinson. And if you want one guy to get you really different, Kendrick Nunn is probably the best overall punt play, not even punt play, just best leverage play in the slate. I'm not putting him in my single entry lineups where there's only 500 people competing. But if you're going to play today in a contest that has 5 to 10,000 plus people in it, Kendrick Nunn makes for a very good play. Not because of his projection or anything like that, although that doesn't look terrible, because of the fact that he's going to be a leverage piece on a slate that really there's not much leverage out there. He's going to be a guard playing 20 minutes. He just won't close out. And he's going to be a guard playing 20 minutes and likely starting, assuming that he starts again, right? He started last game. He's been starting lately for this team. The problem is he played none of the overtime period, and he only played in the fourth quarter 2.5 minutes. So that's your issue, is that Kendrick Nunn is not going to play 23 minutes total in the game. He's not going to close out in the fourth quarter unless he himself is shooting and playing very well, which the odds are that's probably not happening. What is your favorite play on SuperDraft today? Good question. So SuperDraft today, my favorite play is going to be Nikola Jokic. He is projected for 2.5 points more than anybody else on the slate for me. If you're looking for like a high multiplier type of a guy, Robert Covington has a 1.75x multiplier. That's appealing. CJ McCollum, a 1.3x multiplier. But my top projected plays today, I have right now 6 players as yeses on SuperDraft, so that can build a lineup for you right there. If you want to try out SuperDraft, you can check them out. Their contests usually don't fill. It's a multiplier format where basically if you just like enter a lineup, if you sign up using Sal, they'll just give you $20 to play with, so you can just enter a lineup for free. So you might as well use the free roll. You use that, and then you can potentially have like a 30% better chance of winning than any other site because like their contests normally never fill, which gives me slight concerns for their future prospects. But maybe they know what they're doing. Pat's going to surprise a lot of people next season. Maybe, but like what does surprise me? Like their win total, it's not like their win total is like 6 games, right? Like they actually have a decent win total. So I don't know if they're going to surprise many people. Maybe like the casual fan who doesn't pay attention to win totals, right? Butler and McCollum or Dame and Middleton. Butler and McCollum, I like that a lot actually. Like Butler is going to be massively owned. McCollum not so owned. Middleton will be decent owned. Dame will be decent owned, right? But McCollum will shrink that down a little bit. What do you think about Giannis today? Giannis today is my number 3 overall play. No, that's on SuperDraft. Number 3 overall play in SuperDraft. Giannis today is my number 9 overall play in the slate. I mean, I think that the minutes that we saw in regulation out of Giannis last time out were fantastic. Like, that's exactly what you want to see. Giannis, for me, today is not as much of a priority, though, because of all the other studs that we have. Like, there's a lot of guys that, like, Bam Adebayo gets shut down. Perfect case in point right here. Bam Adebayo gets shut down by Brooke Lopez. That's not going to happen for 4 to 7 games of a series, right? It happened one game, it's kind of fluky. And now Bam Adebayo, you can probably get today at 25% ownership. And you get him at $8,000 flat. for a guy who's going to play 36 to 38 minutes. He's normally $8,000 when he's playing 33 minutes, right? So Bam Adebayo, great play. Exact same analysis for CJ McCollum. Doesn't get shut down, just doesn't play as well, and left a couple of minutes, I would say, on the court in that game. Normally probably plays 40, 41, 42 minutes, especially in games that are going to remain close down the stretch. So Giannis, right, he gets the game to go to overtime. He scores 61 points, but in regulation, he was in like the mid-50s in that game. He's not going to be somebody who picks up assists at all. Middleton is like the only elite assist player on this team on any part of the roster right now. So Giannis, they're going to allow him to do what he wants to do in the paint. He was terrible. You saw how bad he was from the free throw line, right? He shot 40-something%, but that's just how he is. They're putting him to the free throw line a lot more. 13 free throw attempts in that game. Didn't even make half of them, right? So Giannis, fine play. Giannis, projection-wise for me, grades out as my highest projected player on the slate. Well, actually, he's 0.4 points behind, 0.5 points behind Jokic. But, yeah, Giannis for me, I'm not as high on him as I was on the last slate. And it's mainly because of the way that this slate sets up the two-game slate, how you can really build some really nice balanced approach lineups. And I have Jokic a little bit higher right now. Hey, Big Sal, what do you think of Marcus Howard? He played well in Game 1. Do you get more run today out of Marcus Howard? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I'll pull up that team's minutes. I know he played 20 minutes of play or something. I gave Howard 3 minutes of play today. I'm not convinced that he's going to be their answer. Maybe I'm under projecting him. I'm just not convinced that he's going to be the answer that they run out there to kind of fill all the rest of those minutes, right? Giving him 20. I think there's a better chance Paul Millsap plays 20, 22 minutes than Howard going out there again and playing 20, right? And also the fact that JaVale McGee didn't play in that last game, I'm projecting JaVale McGee to play a couple minutes. So maybe I'm 2 to 4 minutes below on Howard, but again, that's only going to matter if you're playing any type of prize picks on Howard. Is Simmons a good pump play today? I'm completely out on Simmons. I have the under on Simmons. It opened at 18 on prize picks. I don't know what it's down to now on fantasy points at least. Let's see. So let's see what the fantasy points are on Simmons. So Simmons over under is now down to 15. Oof. So I'm not touching that. I've got him for 13 points and change, but it opened at 18 today. So I feel very, very good that we got the under on that. Usually beating the closing line is going to be a very strong positive indicator of future success. Any movement on your top 8 rankings? No, sir. None yet. Will Anthony Simons play 20 minutes today? I've got Simons for 18 minutes. 20 minutes. Even at 20 minutes, I have no interest. Thoughts on JaVale McGee and Melo? I think we answered that one already. It's still a dope show regardless, says Chinky Blanco. I appreciate that. 15 ownership for Melo. Geez, don't tempt me, somebody says. Yeah, I mean, there's reasons to go there. What do you think about none? Great leverage play in large field. That's about it. Who do you got as champions on SuperDraft today? I think that a really good champion option outside of Jokic and Jimmy Butler that are obvious options would be CJ McCollum. How do you feel about Lopez for value? Is the direct pivot off of Robert Covington. Lopez probably comes in around 24% owned today. Covington probably around 35-40% owned. Collins is out. Yeah, this morning he was questionable / doubtful. I don't expect him to play. I gave him 0 minutes as he's had literally all season long. Any sneaky 3K guys? No, because the only guy that looks good in the 3K range for minutes that are 25 plus and probably closer to 30 would be Austin Rivers, and he's not sneaky. He's going to pick up ownership. The only other guys are guys that you're hoping that play 16 to 18 minutes, and Paul Millsap and JaMychal Green, the power forwards. JaMychal Green could play some small forward, right, at Denver today. Those guys, they're the only sneaky guys if you want to say that they're sneaky. Marcus Howard is somebody who in the last game out there did play. He's 3,200. He did play 20 minutes of play, right? He's not a good point per minute producer. I don't think 20 minutes or play are going to be in the card for Marcus Howard moving forward. I have Marcus Howard today for I gave him 3 minutes, but there is reason for me to move him up to maybe 8 minutes of play today. But yes, I'm not too much there on Marcus Howard, who did get, he got legit run in each quarter, right? He was basically playing he played 10 minutes a half, so there's legit run there. Perhaps I am too low on Marcus Howard, but again, even if I gave him more run, he would Marcus Howard instead of what do I have Marcus Howard at today? I assume my lowest projected player. Yeah, I have Marcus Howard for 2.4 fantasy points. Even if I gave him 10 minutes of play today, he'd be at around for me 7 fantasy points and change. So it won't change anything for him unless you plan to try and take his over/under sometime today. If you're watching right now and you're not already a patron, what are you doing? Get access to the Big Energy Optimizer, which we showed a little bit. We're going to show it more. Get access to that bad boy. The projections all updated. Not really any updates today, but for the rest of this. PGA, which we'll have a video out on the channel tomorrow for PGA. Obviously, the projections, the optimizer, the ownership, the ranks, all that stuff. MMA, getting very, very close to the Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier trilogy. Can't wait for that, right? I was actually watching that right before the stream. Watching somebody made a 50-minute hype video for it, 30 minutes through. It is downpouring out. Yo, I moved to Texas, and I think I've seen the sun for like a grand total of like 3 fucking hours. And when I've seen it, my face is melted, right? If I was somebody who wore makeup, if I was a female, I don't know how you would wear it. It would just be running down my face. Fucking pouring every other time that I'm here. Crazy. Lopez or Dante? Between Lopez, I'm scared to play hero. I would not play him, yeah. Nick celebrated too early, somebody says. They were just having a lot of fun, yeah. Lopez or Dante or Duncan? I would rank that Duncan, Lopez, Dante, factoring in everything. DiVincenzo and Gordon or Powell and Robinson? Give me Powell and Robinson. Bam or Middleton? Give me Bam. Dante or Duncan Robinson? Give me Duncan Robinson. Yeah, it's been raining like crazy, somebody says. Crazy. Been raining cats and dogs lately in Texas. Yeah, man. Is this like normal? Is this like what it does? Is this like your April showers are in May now? Like what the fuck's happening here? Like I got here really late, like close to midnight last Friday. So I've had like actually like a week to settle in. And I think it's rained every single day, but like consistently heavy, cloudy, like 5 out of the 7 days. I'm getting like seasonal depression in fucking May. I move out of the Northeast to North Carolina to get out of it. And that was kind of okay. That's cool, right? It starts to rain a lot. And then I'm like, all right, let's go to Texas where it never fucking rains because they got deserts down there. Where do I got to go? Do I got to go to the fucking, do I got to go to Mexico? Do I got to go to as close to the equator as possible, burn my fucking retinas in every other part of my body just to get avoid the seasonal depression and the rain? Fucking crazy in these streets. Covington is at 25.9 in the points projections. Correct. Yeah, correct. Sal, do you like Covington on Prize Picks? And can you check the board, please, and see if you like anything else? Yeah, so the board is the 5 that I talked about earlier is what I liked. I don't expect to put in anything else. I have Covington for 25.9 points today. His over-under is 22 on Prize Picks. I would say that looks pretty good. I have not taken it. I was very close to adding Covington this morning instead of, I think, the Brook Lopez under 12 points. I just had the Brook Lopez under 12 points looking a little bit better, like percentage-wise, and the percentage of difference in my projections. But Covington's over 22 looks fine. The Anthony Simons is not playable now. The Paul Millsap over 14, that's actually appealing. I've got him at 18.2. Maybe I'll place another one. Paul Millsap over 14, Covington over 22. But I really want to try to lean a little bit more towards unders. That's what I did this morning. I took 3 unders, I believe, 2 or 3 unders this morning. Actually, it might have been 4 unders. Yeah, it was 4. I took 4 unders this morning. Giannis under, Brook Lopez, Carmelo, and Simons. Yeah, so I took 4. I want to lean a little bit more towards unders in some of these aspects and see what we can get there on like these weaker type of players. Not as much these superstars who can get there a lot more of the time, right? Middleton's on fire. Somebody said, yeah, he had a fantastic game. Rivers or Morris today? Rivers. DiVincenzo, Gordon, or Powell and Robinson in a single entry. My man Phil is asking me. I'll go Powell and Robinson. So I'm so mad about none not going over on Prize Picks after Giannis went over. Yeah, it was brutal, man. It was brutal. I was watching that in a restaurant with my girlfriend's parents. Seeing that the game went to overtime, like part of me was like, oh yes, the game went to overtime. None can get us there and win me some fucking money back on this weekend. And then in the back, but like the smart, so that was the emotional part of my brain. I don't know which side's which, but like, I guess the smart part of my brain, the reasoning side of my brain was like, this motherfucker didn't play the final 9 minutes of regulation. Goran Dragic played fine there. Nobody got injured. Kendrick Nunn's not sniffing the court unless there's an injury. And then part of my brain was like, ooh, Goran Dragic get injured. And then the other part of my brain, this is how my fucking brain works. It was like, you're a fucking narcissist. Cut that shit out. So I was like, let's see how it plays out. Of course, what did he finish with, like 15 point something? Will Meyer says, you can't pitch tonight. Will Meyer, look, I really don't know what you're saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know. I don't know what you're saying, my guy. So, what do you think about Bobby Portis today? I'm not really there. Middleton or Adebayo? I'm going with Adebayo over Middleton today. Guys that I like that won't be as highly owned and are strong players because they didn't have a good game 1 and expect them to bounce back because Brook Lopez isn't going to shut down Middleton and CJ McCollum is going to play better just overall than he did in all aspects in that last game. Yeah, CJ McCollum and Bam I like a good amount in this slate. McCollum shooting guard eligible. McCollum shot 40% in that last game. Decently below his average, right? Only picked up 3 assists. Decently below his average for playing 36 minutes. Oh yeah, played 36 minutes when that guy usually plays 38 to 40 plus in postseason games. So I like all those. Morris points over on Prize Picks today. So I'm going to assume you're not. So is that fantasy points or real life points? Morris is over under 9.5 real life points on Prize Picks today. I will be taking Morris right now. It's a no bet for me. I got Morris at 9.7. So literally a no bet for me. Thoughts on Drew Holiday today? He's kind of another guy in that category, right? Giannis did fine, got to overtime, didn't really hurt anybody because of the overtime game. Middleton plays fantastic. Drew Holiday standing there as a shooting guard eligible player at $7,700 today. has scored 40 points in what, 3 straight games. Yeah, Drew Holiday's also fine, but I prefer McCollum. Like if you're trying to get different in a spot today, you can go to both of them, but I would prefer McCollum and Bam Adebayo. They're all kind of in that same price range. They're all going to come in with, I would say, similar ownership. Drew Holiday probably comes in maybe a little bit more, but I assume that all those guys come in with like 25% ownership today. I would rank it McCollum, Bam, and Drew Holiday, but all 3 of them will kind of get you a little bit differentiated today. Best value play in the slate and best and or mid-range guys. Best mid-range guys for me are Norman Powell and Michael Porter's towards the top of that mid-range, but those are the best mid-range guys. Best value, there's none. Like, I'm not really trying to go with the value. I'm not going double stud, although I do think it'll make you unique. I'm trying to go really balanced today. And playing guys like CJ McCollum, Bam Adebayo, and maybe even Drew Holiday, right? And then you could even play Butler together. There's enough, right? Playing those guys, you'll be different. You'll be different by just having a bunch of 25% owned guys in your lineup. Maybe you leave $400 or $500 on the table. But if you're really hungry for value, Robert, in this order, guys below 5K: Robert Covington, Brooke Lopez, Austin Rivers, Paul Millsap, Dante DiVincenzo, Duncan Robinson. That's my point per dollar, right? Duncan Robinson won't pick up that much ownership. Covington will pick up ownership. Rivers will pick up a lot. So I'm currently trying to get away from Covington. Will you run the optimizer? Let's run it right now. Sal's Cantor in your player pool. He is not my man Kyle John. I like that name. 2 names for yourself. So let's run the optimizer. So let's build out the lineups. Let's build 150. So this is the big energy optimizer. You can get up in here and play with it on all the sports that we cover if you'd like. Appreciate all the people in here right now. There's a link to it. Big energy optimizer. So let's go 2 uniques for the smaller slate. Let's go 5. And let's do 49,800. Let's actually set a salary maximum here to get different. And if you're playing in a small field contest, you don't have to do this. But if you're trying to win $50,000 to $100,000 today, odds are you're playing in a loaded field with 10,000 plus people. So let's set this to a salary maximum, as you can see right here, of 49,800. And because of that, we can lower the randomness a little bit, and then we'll rebuild. The rain right now, my girlfriend went to go pick up some dinner. The rain might blow her the fuck away. Somebody says, Sal is a bozo. Thank you. I appreciate that. Can one of the mods in the chat remove Matthew from the chat? What do we got? Good stuff. Just subscribe, says Jay Mata. I appreciate that, my man. Double stud for single entry or nah? I'm not there personally. I used to be able to mute this random, somebody says. I don't know why you're not able to right now, my man. Yeah, so I'm using Restream chat, so I can't add moderators, sadly. Morris over under 18.5 fantasy points today. Monty Morris I have today for 17.3, so it's a no bet for me. So these are the types of lineups that grade out towards the top right now when you start to put on a salary restriction of 49,800 to try and get a little bit more unique there. And this one's not terrible. Norman Powell, decently owned. Paul Millsap won't be that highly owned. And Damian Lillard with Butler is an interesting combination because a lot of people will choose one or the other. Damian Lillard would probably be close to half the ownership. So this one's not terrible. Lillard at 25% owned. Paul Millsap will be a pump play here. This one grades out for 277 fantasy points, leaves a couple $100 on the table. I think that makes a lot of sense. Kendrick Nunn. So here's the ultimate leverage play, right? Kendrick Nunn, the ultimate leverage play here. He's all you need in maybe any contest outside of like even the 100K to first. He's like all you need to get different. But look at this. It also gets different with Lillard. This is a very simple lineup. Like people try and get really crazy on these 2-game slates. Butler will be chalky. Yes. Covington will have ownership. Yes. Nurkic will have ownership. Yes. Porter will have a lot of ownership. Yes. Rivers will have 30% ownership for a 3K guy. Yes. But, and this is a big old booty. Dame Lillard might be 24% owned tonight, right? That's leverage. And Kendrick Nunn might literally be 8% owned tonight. That is enough with leaving $200 on the table to maybe be unique. You'll definitely be unique in contests of 1,000 people or less, probably 5,000 people. I mean, watching this now, maybe you're not, right? But these are the types of lineups that I tried to play in small field, single entry, and 3-max. Ones that have all the chalk because that's the NBA. You just got to play the fucking chalk. How do you pivot in 1 to 2 spots? And one of those spots today, which is crazy, I'm pivoting in a spot by playing Damian fucking Lillard today, right? Like that's how I'm pivoting instead of playing like Jokic or Giannis, which is crazy. Salsa helped me build almost $5,000 in 2 months. Hey, shout out to you, my man, Dale. Shout out to you. Sal, Marcus Howard played 3 games, played decent minutes. Why do you think he plays so little tonight? Yeah, I admitted earlier that 3 minutes might be a little bit low. Maybe I got to give him 6 minutes. Maybe I got to give him 8 minutes. I'm projecting JaVale McGee to re-enter the rotation, and I'm projecting Paul Millsap for more than 15 minutes like he had that last game out, which starts to pull down Marcus Howard's run. But I probably should give Marcus Howard like 8 minutes of play. But even if I give him 8 minutes of play, he'll project out for me for like 6.5 fantasy points. Favorite pay-up option for cash, Jimmy Butler at 8,500. Sal moved to Texas, a weird pale. I don't know this guy. We got RS Clown. Sal, been with you since the NBA days. Great stuff. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Rob. Appreciate that a lot. So this is actually a really strong lineup. What is this one? So this one's got the McCollum difference in there, and that's probably about it in this lineup. Like Duncan Robinson won't be massively owned. Paul Millsap won't be massive. So there you go. So these are actually giving you nice, decent lineups. Hey, Sal, do you like Trevor Ariza or Goran Dragic more today? Goran Dragic more today. Good stuff. Just subscribe. Appreciate that. Drew and Porter or Monty Morris and Giannis? Give me Drew and Porter Jr. there, Evan. Sal, thanks to you. I hit $145 last night. Thanks for the tools. You tell the truth. Keep doing what you're doing. And sincere thanks. Demetrius, I appreciate you, boss man. Appreciate you more than you know. Somebody says you stole somebody's girl, Sal? No, I don't believe so. I do not believe so. 6 minutes for Howard. You're a Grinch, somebody says. Look, even if I gave him 12, like, give him as much minutes as you want. 14 minutes. It's still going to be like 10 fantasy points, right? If anything, it'll just like make JaVale McGee not in the rotation, which doesn't matter. And it would probably pull down Paul Millsap to like 14, 15 minutes, which then would matter for him playing. Where did you stand that bed in Franklin from, Sal? So I saw it in Miami. So that one's 4 feet long by 2 feet tall. So pretty big, right? But I saw one in Miami that was like 6, 7 feet long. And I was like, I fucking like that. But I was in Fort Lauderdale. I always say Miami. So Fort Lauderdale. And it was like fucking, I don't know, somebody actually made it. So it was like 4,000, something bullshit on the strip down there, all the bougie fucks, right? So I was like, I don't want that. But then I looked it up on Amazon and I found it. It was only like $100. The Benny Frank, not bad. Any interest in Dragic? Slight. Play the stars from the teams who lost game one. Yeah, or the stars that were on the teams that won game one but didn't perform too greatly. Like CJ McCollum and Bam Adebayo, right? So pretty simple. You were talking about League of Legends the other day, and I remember that's how I came across your channel, searching in the times of no sports, as my man Eric. Really? Damn. Yeah, I mean, I had a featured segment on the local North Carolina news, Raleigh News, about my League of Legends content. They reached out. That's how much people needed sports content. Even the local news was like, fuck, we gotta find somebody to talk about the League of Legends. Let's talk about this fuck. And I just like shaved my head 2 days before, so I was bald. I was literally bald. I was like, fuck this. Well, my girlfriend gave me the fuck me up in the back of my head, and I was like, fuck, we're taking it off. She brought my hairline like up to here, and I was like, that's what you're doing? Like, that? You thought that was what you're supposed to do? But then I just shaved my whole fucking head bald. Simmons and CJ McCollum or Powell and Dragic? Thanks, boss man. Give me Powell and Dragic there. Come on, Sal, have a heart. Give Dragic 15. He might get more. I'll reevaluate it after this for sure. You really think ownership on Lillard is going to be low? I mean, not like 10%, but look, this is a slate where guys are going to be 50 and 40% on. And I think Lillard will be below 30% on. Maybe he touches 30, but below there. Why do I say that? People want Giannis and Jokic. They want the studs. And it makes sense. They're projected highly. Butler is an insane value. Michael Porter is an insane value. And then you're going to see balanced ownership on guys like Drew Holiday, Middleton, right? McCollum. So I do think Lillard at $9,500 is a little bit of sticker shock there. And just to make your lineups work out, people are going to play Giannis and Butler, right? And when you play Giannis and Butler, you can't play Lillard. When you play Lillard and Giannis, your lineups look a lot worse, right? So when people want to, I personally right now I feel like I don't want to play either of the studs, Jokic or Giannis. I feel like I want to play Butler, Lillard, because I view those guys as studs in the postseason, right? They're fucking studs. They can score 60 points. So playing Butler, Lillard, McCollum, like things like that, or Butler, McCollum, Bam, like things like that make sense to me today. Monty Morris or Rivers? Rivers. Thanks, I appreciate you. Appreciate you as well. Are you not on Giannis today? Giannis in my 20 maxes, and I might play 150s. I don't like to normally play them on 2-game slates. 20 maxes, I'm on him. I don't have 0%. My single entry lineup today probably will not have Giannis Antetokounmpo. As of right now, 45 minutes before the game, it's not going to. Is playing Nunn, Butler, and Bam a good option? I don't think it's a bad option. It looks fine to me. Nurkic, Lillard, or Jokic and Lopez today? Give me Nurkic and Lillard. Monty Morris or Austin Rivers? Austin Rivers. Been a day one, Sal. I've seen the growth. Keep building, says We the People. Hey, We the People. I appreciate you, man. There's been some massive growth. If you look at my channel this time last year, so that's 1 year. October will be 3 years of me doing this, which is kind of crazy, right? We're almost doing this 3 years now. But if you look at my content this time last year, it looks like I was doing it out of the back of my car, right? But you don't notice it. Like when I look at this a year from now, it might look like a piece of shit. It might be like, oh, wow, I can't believe I was doing that out of my fucking apartment. I might have like an actual studio that I go to with a lot better lighting. Although I think this is a pretty, I have the lighting like somewhat dark for a reason. I think it looks pretty nice because I literally have 6 lights on me with the above one. But the way that you kind of like dim them all and fade the camera, my friend was teaching me all this. I don't know any of this shit. I'm trying to self-learn on the fly. It gives this look. I was here last year and the year before. It says that stud Kill a Cam. Kill a Cam. Do you watch the challenge? Because that's Kill a Cam. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you were here the year before last year, I mean, we were grinding off of the MacBook Air, not even the Pro, the MacBook Air webcam and the MacBook Air speaker as a microphone. That's it. I had one piece of equipment, and then I bought a ring light, and I was using that. That's it. Just trying to make it work. Brutal. It looked brutal. Optimizer gave me Giannis, Jokic, and Bam. Nice, says Eric. Hey, that's going to be tough to kind of fit. I assume it's giving you like Paul Millsap and maybe like Rivers. What do you think about Ariza Holiday today on Prize Picks, says Robert G. Robert G, I will tell you exactly what I think about them. What is the specific prop you want? And I can give you the answer. Is it fantasy points? Is it points, assists, rebounds, three-pointers? Let me know, and I can give you the answer on that for sure. None or Gordon today. Give me none if I had to pick one. I lived in Dallas for 30 days. Only hell is hotter, says Paul Tapina. Yikes. Houston is hotter than hell. Walk outside in the summer and you're already sweating balls. So I had people, I did an internship with GE in San Francisco, or in Silicon Valley. So like, not, it was San Ramon it was called. So it was like 20 minutes from the Silicon Valley area, half hour. But I don't fucking know. Somewhere around there. I was right next to San Francisco. So I think San Jose is technically Silicon Valley. Anyways, point of the story is there were some other interns that were in Houston. We got up for like a meetup, and the girls said that were there that like they couldn't even wear makeup out there. Like they would go from their apartment to the parking garage, like literally a couple minute walk, and they would be drenched in just disgusting sweat. I remember the eggs with feta. What does the eggs with feta mean? I mean, I make omelets like almost every single morning, and they got feta in them. So we still doing them. Rivers or DiVincenzo? I mean, DiVincenzo, but that's a totally different price range. You know what I'm saying there? Like, Rivers is $3,800. DiVincenzo is $4,900. So, like, are you leaving $1,100 on the table? Or are you getting something else there? Killicam and Leroy all day. Facts, man. Yeah, sad to see that they couldn't win it last year. But they took home some change because of Cam, right? Some change. Powell or DiVincenzo, you're the best, Sal. Keep it up. Devin, I appreciate you. You're the best. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate everybody right now tuning in. You all rock. Thank you. Powell or DiVincenzo, give me Powell. Your favorite values below Rocco's $4,400 price tag. Well, Austin Rivers is going to be the best option, but he's also going to be the most owned, but he is going to be the standout best option. Outside of that $4,400 price tag, it's punts of Bobby Portis, punts of Jermichael Green and Paul Millsap. I would rank it Paul Millsap, Jermichael Green, Bobby Portis below that $4,400 price tag, not counting Rivers. He would be the best. I'm sorry, I just can't play Rivers even at 3.8. I'd rather play Morris, somebody says. That's fair. I don't think I'm touching the 3K range today. If you're playing Giannis or Jokic, you're probably touching the 3K range today, and that's fine. I mean, if Giannis goes for 70, Jokic goes for 70, all those guys need to score like 18 points, and they're fucking more than capable of doing that. What do you think Nunn's ownership will be? 10%, maybe 15. That's about it. Robert G says fantasy points on. So my man Robert, let's see what his question was again. Robert says Ariza and Holiday's fantasy points today over on Prize Picks. Let me pull those up for you. So what do I think about them? So Ariza's over-under is 25.5. I have Ariza today for 23.8. That would be a no bet for me, but if you wanted to lean the under, you can lean the under, but it's a no bet for me personally. Drew Holiday is 38.5. I have Drew Holiday for 38.7, so that is a straight no bet for me. So if anything, lean the under on Ariza. Neither of them are close enough or best enough to be bets for me. Good enough to be bets for me is the best way to say that. I do, but it's more for the camera. Somebody says, and she's a female. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that said. Oh, you're talking about... You're talking about the challenge still? Best power forward combo today. The best two power forwards. It depends on how you want to build your lineups out. Like Giannis is obviously the best point projected one. Personally, for me, like how I see this slate playing out today, I think the best power forward options are going to be the expensive ones. Like Michael Porter would be number one, and number two would be Giannis. But I don't feel the need to. And one, you can put Michael Porter at small forward, which is what you should be doing today, right? And two, I don't feel the need to play Giannis. But if you're looking for two power forwards today, that's where I would go. I would rank the power forwards today: Michael Porter, Giannis, Robert Covington. Give me Green and Forbes. They changed to Green. Millsap, still not sure in Forbes in the lineup. Yeah, I'm not too sure on Forbes either. It's really tough for Forbes to get there unless there's some sort of foul trouble. Like Forbes minutes-wise, he's just in a squeeze, right? Because he's playing guard on Milwaukee, where Drew Holiday's going to play massive minutes around 40. Middleton's going to play massive minutes around 40. You know, DiVincenzo's in the lineup to play 30. And then it's like, where does the rest of the minutes come from? Pat Connaughton will be in the rotation. Maybe only plays 8, 10, 12 minutes, right? But it's like, where do you get the rest of these minutes? And the answer is you just don't. And that's why I have Forbes for just 14 minutes. Last one, Covington or Ariza, and why? Give me Covington. He has more of a minutes floor and upside. His minutes floor is 32. His minutes upside is 38 to 40. Ariza's minutes floor is 27. Minutes ceiling is 34, 35. So strictly a minutes play for me there. Similar point per minute producers. Ariza's not going to bang around much. Covington can maybe bang around much for a little bit more rebounds. And the other thing for Covington is he's going to get the minutes either way. But if Melo isn't shooting well, he'll also get more shot attempts because Melo will play less minutes. Somebody says Rivers is trash. Any love for Dre, Iggy, Andre Iguodala? No, my man Larry, I do not have any love for him. Still like your early prize picks? I do, but they've changed. Like, I'm not taking the under on Simons now. I'm not taking the updated under on Melo. So, like, what I got them at earlier today, I do like, which was this. I'll pull it up again. So this is the only entry I still have on prize picks. I'm going to look at the market in the last half hour to see if anything else. Why do I always forget to put on this right here? Let's see. So this is the updated. This is what I placed this morning. Again, if you're just tuning in, you can check out Prize Picks, linked below. You put in any money, use the code SAL, S-A-L. You put in any dollar Rooskies, they'll double your money up to $100. These are the ones I like this morning. I feel good about all of them if you can still get them at this number. But Simons is at 15 now. I don't like that. Melo dropped from 23. I don't like that. Powell was at 24. Let's see what Powell's at now. So Norman Powell was at 24.5 when I got him. And also beating these closing lines makes me feel very nice. Now he's at 25. That's barely changed. So yeah, I still like the over on Powell 25. Melo was at 23.5. Melo's now at 21. I don't like that as much. See? I do not like that as much, Chief. I think that Giannis is a no-go. Heat D will keep shutting him down. Yeah, I mean, Bam had arguably a bad game last time out. And Giannis still only had like 55 points in regulation. 50-something, right? Simmons or Forbes. If I had to pick one, Simmons. I'm playing DK tiers. Giannis, Jokic, or Dame. Thanks. Give me Giannis there. More minutes upside, I believe. DiVincenzo, Ariza, Duncan Robinson, or Brooke Lopez today. If I had to pick one of them, give me Duncan Robinson. Sal, spring feed watering holes work in the summer. You're close to many options. Just remember to miss traffic rush hour during the week, says Chris Boyd. I appreciate that. What exactly does spring feed watering hole option mean in the summer? Does that mean like go to watering holes? I've heard of a couple. Something pool I've heard of. Is Hero on 20.5 on Prize Picks way too low? DraftKings 5x value is 29.5. Yeah, no, I don't think it's way too low at all. I think if anything 20.5 might be high. I've got Hero for 18.8 points today. Tyler Hero is not the same Tyler Hero you thought of last year. This entire regular season, Tyler Hero has stunk. He started to come off the bench a month ago. He still has stunk. He's coming off the bench right now. He's behind Goran Dragic in the pecking order off the bench as a scorer, right? Jimmy Butler is taking on more usage in the postseason. So is Dragic, so is Bam. So Tyler Hero off the bench, he's going to play 20 minutes, 24 minutes. He's going to probably average 22 minutes in this series. So for a guy who's not averaging a fantasy point per minute, 20.5, if anything, seems high to me. If anything. Alrighty, gang, get your final questions in. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up. We've been live for about 50 minutes for this 2-game slate. I don't think we need to pound the dead horse if there's no other questions out there, if it's only repeating questions. But thank you for tuning in. Before you go, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. That is how we keep this thing going. Support the sponsors of the program, which is Prize Picks. They're a sponsor of the program. Use that code SAL, and that allows me to stream for 2-game slates in the middle of May for the NBA postseason, which I love doing. You like Nunn or Robinson better? Robinson better for sure, if you can afford the difference there. But yes, there's the link to Patreon if you want to sign up. It is in the chat now. We will be back tomorrow where we actually have a better slate size, 3-game slates, but this is a very good one for 2 games. There's a lot of different ways to get pivots and get different, and I do enjoy that. That 7K range of differentiating pieces today. McCollum, Drew Holiday, maybe even Middleton if he drops there. Bam and Adebayo right at 8K. I'm going to be living in that range today, and I'm going to be enjoying it. Thank you for tuning in. You all rock. I'll see you all in the next one. Expect NBA content tomorrow with another live stream and a DFS/betting golf show for the Charles Schwab Classic, I believe it is. So see you all in the next one. You all rock. Agree. Hero stinks, somebody says. There you go. Blister on finger, can't pinch, get it. Oh, there we go. Can't pinch it. Okay. I didn't know what you were saying by that. Dragic or Robinson? If I had to pick one, Dragic. Thanks, Al. Hope Howard doesn't go off. Hope he doesn't go off either. Otherwise, I'm not going to have a career. Would you go CJ or Lillard in single entry 300 max people? If I had to pick one, give me CJ, the savings, and then you can maybe get up to a Bam or something like that. Alrighty, everybody. Peace out. Appreciate you. If I need to make any updates, I will. Maybe we'll make Howard projected for like 6 points instead of 2. But yeah, see you in the next one. I'm going to go eat some food. You all rock. Best of luck on this slate. The slate starts in about 38 minutes. Enjoy. Last question. Somebody says, Cantor, question mark. No, I have him for 18 minutes and not enough points. Or 16 minutes and not enough points to give a damn. Nurtured Seminator back up. Who's lower owned, Dragic or DiVincenzo today? We're still here. We're still here answering the questions. We're doing overtime on the overtime right now. I think that today's ownership, so I'm seeing Dragic coming in at about 28% owned, and then I'm seeing DiVincenzo coming in today at around 30% owned. So it's basically the same. Rivers a lock, no. None are Dragic today. Dragic if you had to pick one, if you can afford it though, right? But I'm totally fine with none in large field GPPs, not your small field stuff. See you in the next one, gang. You all rock. Like, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend as well. And peace out, gang.